wishing star, living with the dawn. I wish I could believe we've come so far, but the day is so long. I wish I could believe, wish I could believe, but we can't go back.
I'd been doing some work with Hamlet. You know, I was creating images around Hamlet before I left. And so anyway, we turned up the little theatre, and this really old woman sits near me, and I turn round and I look at her, and she's just got this most fantastic face. And just lines, but this sort of joy. I mean, I don't know, she must be in her 90s, and suddenly she starts just talking to me about Sergei Parajanov and Hamlet. I'm like, what's going on? There you go. I feed the sparrows every day. Give them a bite of Vitabrits. And it's funny because they wait. they chirp outside waiting. Slowly feeding them. Milk, and Amy has lots of milk. Should I face which way? Because that's what happens with me is, you know, I can have something really good and then I think it's really, really shit. So I do something to it and then it sits there for about 5 years before I realise, well, that was a mistake, and then I have to destroy that bit to try to take it back. But you can't go back because you just, you know. There's this idea at the moment, you know, it's a sort of philosophical idea about a possibility that very personal work has a potential to kind of reach a more universal sense of feeling. Feeling is very important to me because there's a lot of optical brilliance in the world, you know, people making lots of things that look fabulous. But looking fabulous isn't the same as feeling something.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So I'm very interested in feeling. What does something make you feel? Is there a feeling that's generated from this thing? I do find small things more attractive to me, really. A lot of the time, I think. Humble things that are really, you know. And I don't think art's gone the way that I thought it should go. Art used to be a bit of a way for, like, working class people to, you know, like a Sid Nolan or something, or, you know, even Andy Warhol wasn't, he didn't come from rich, he's, you know, he came from poor, you know, or whatever, like Pollock or whatever, you know. I think it used to be a way that working class people could rise. And the kind of bourgeoisie wouldn't do it because there's no money in it. I just think it's extremely, really difficult. And I think people underestimate what that extreme difficulty is. And I think there's a lot of production of a kind of facsimile of that. You know, it appears to be that, but a lot of people are very slick with paint, you know, can do remarkable things, really great craftspeople, you know. Because this doesn't look breaking new ground. But this idea that painting's dead, I think that's just absurd. You know, I think no art form's dead. But I got a feeling that, you know, like the next Michelangelo da Vinci, you know, whatever, it's going to come from Melton. There'll be some 16-year-old kid with a computer. A lot of talent in the world, you know. There's a lot of talent in the world. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm not convinced by that.
I'm gonna be alright. I've been caught in time. I want you to know that I love you so. My friend, the skies are bright. I see orange light. I want you to know that I love you so. And I feel like gold. And I love you so. I'm gonna be alright. I've been caught in time. I want you.
Oh, I think that's all part of it, you know, and I think that's part of it. But just like children have fun, they also have trauma and they have screaming and crying, and so I think that's all part of it too. But I have very strong memory of my creativity, always. You know, it took me a long time to call it art, but you know, probably the best stuff that I've ever done was when I was probably in my early teens. Yeah, my real philosophy, to be honest with you, is you just do what you do. You know, I'm not one of these artists that's incredibly confident about what they're doing at all. Yeah, and I don't think all of that compulsion is sort of necessarily healthy, but, you know, there's this whole thing about, you know, art's supposed to be really dreadfully good for you, you know. And I think it's good for you if you don't do it. But if you really seriously do it and spend a lot of time doing it, it's not necessarily, you know, some weird shit comes out of that. But, you know, I've seen some beautiful secret artists, you know, I saw this painter in St Kilda once he had this whole group of paintings and every so often he'd just change the whole colour scheme of them and just go over them all. So he'd go yellow. But then he'd obviously done it so many times that the paint had, it's got like the walls of the mama, from so many layers. And I think it was blue when I was there. Yeah, it was blue. He was in a blue thing, and so they'd all gone blue. I just hung it over the door just to see. It was the only wall space I it's the only space I had, so there's no wall space in this place. It's very wall space is scarce. So I've recently done quite a rehang. I mean, and it's not, it's not a very good hang. I'd do another hang if I could, but it's so time consuming. And maybe that's a limitation on my part, but it's certainly not the way I work. I'm very, very big on the psychic automatism, was what the Surrealists called it. This notion of a work making itself, I think, is very interesting. Very, very interesting. And it's like it's like a bit like a farmer. You till the soil and you put seeds in, and you water and things, and so you do all the preparation to set the potential for this thing but that somehow it has a life of its own. So from that process, it's spinning off all sorts of kind of, like these. These are part of that process. Suddenly I've got 87 of these that I just took down to Officeworks this morning, and this is coming out of performance. This is from a performance platform. I'm getting artifacts and See, I like painting a lot, but and I like these works to have a real painterly feel to them. Like that. It's like Rembrandt, for fuck's sake. Dead set Rembrandt. It's brilliant. This kind of triumphant thing, this. Yeah. And I think it doesn't interest me very much. That's all I can really say about that. But I've got to say, at the end of the day, it all kind of ends up looking like wallpaper for a decor, Decor. I mean, I suppose that's what, I don't know. I won't have that one because it doesn't go with the lounge, whatever, that stuff. Yeah. It's got that vibe a bit about it. And it pretends to dynamism, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, the thing is, they do. A lot of these guys are doing really well. So people are buying that, and so who am I to? Like they're trying to make a living, I suppose. I don't know. But I just go, well, yeah, but it seems all of the type. I think there's a level of strangeness that can be very interesting, and they don't appear to me to be strange. There's no strangeness to them. You blow people away by scale, and I understand, but bigger than Ben-Hur. I'm a big. Puppetry means a lot to me. It's sort of a life metaphorical, relationship to it or something. I don't know. So, those big puppets. I really, I was looking at one yesterday where it breathes steam, and there's a guy that it's like something out of Mad Max, because there's an operator that's up the top of the head on this. There's a chair out the popping out the back of the head, and then downstairs there's another guy driving the thing, you know, and it's like, imagine you know, it's just big money. It's big bucks, huge bucks, like it's huge dollars. And that's what it's for, you know. It's used as, it's bread and circus stuff, you know. It's used to blow people away. This is what we're going to do. We're going to blow you away, and we're going to use this huge thing, and it's going to blow steam, and it's going to have fire, and, you know, like it's, you know, I don't mean to be critical of people, but of course they're going to be blown away. But what's it actually saying to you? What's it telling you about your life? What's it actually, you know? Because I suppose, really intrinsically, I think art, if it was possible, well, I know it's possible because I've seen it, but it should really be reveal stuff about what it's like to live at this time, or at the time that it's made, and it's about life. I wish we weren't spending all this money on weaponry, and we were all spending it on art, and we could all just make really shitty art together. Instead of buying tanks, and yeah, and I think that would be a much healthier society. But I think we're in a reverse 19th century that's bookending the 20th century. So you got the 20th century, you got the 19th century, you've got the 20th century where all this wild stuff happened. And now you've got the 21st century acting as a bookend to the 20th century, and we're kind of going in reverse of the 19th century. Well, I think there's an interesting thing, you know. I think when you make art, you should be learning, essentially. This sounds like a bit, maybe, I don't know. You know, if you're making a piece of art and you think, oh gosh, shit, I don't want to fuck this up, then straight off, you're lost. You know, I can remember making things as a teenager where I wouldn't even have had a hesitation of any sense of anything except I just wanted to do this and do it and make this thing and make it. Never thinking, oh shit. I find a lot of what I do as an adult now, it's like there's all these little, you know, because I often get into that, I can't finish something, or I'm afraid to take the next step because it's going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if you're in there, as soon as that's going on, you'll...
By the river this morning, I went for a walk. In the sun I feel good, it releases my blood. Relaxation is a breakthrough to pain or worries too. Thoughts of dying in the gutter, they don't bother me no more. And the river started talking in a vibrating sound. As I lay down my head to the ground. Relaxation is a breakthrough. The pain, no worries too. Thoughts of dying in the gutter, they don't bother me no more.
I don't care. I really sort of don't care. Not that I won't make an effort, but I just don't really. I think where you're gone, you know. But I'll probably leave it. I don't know. See whether I don't know. The Shire of Yarrambiack might want it. I don't know. Doesn't, I think that's one thing I feel about selling art is that I just don't think I can't understand how people spend money on it. I mean, I'd rather buy an iPad for $1,500 than probably. Oh wow! Look at that iPad. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. I think it's a shame because I think one of the things that people miss out by not having art in their life. I think a piece of art can be incredibly. It will feed back to you a lot. I think. I think the thing that probably I don't want to say it angers me or makes me angry but I think there's a lot of triumphalism where people it's like setting out to I'm going to make this really fantastic thing and then they do make this thing that they think's fantastic and it yeah, I just think sometimes there's a very triumphal kind of approach sometimes that probably pisses me off a bit. I would probably still be in the middle of nowhere even if I was in the city. I mean, it's obviously it'd be nice to be able to go and see some things and stuff like that, but aloneness or isolation, it's all like up here. When I first moved down here, I was sharing here with someone else, and then they went. And at that time, just before they're leaving, I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to be by myself, and how will I deal with that?" And I was really, really a bit concerned about it. And the irony was, it just was actually the most fruitful time. I've spent a couple of years here by myself and it really was just fantastic, I mean, the net's been really great, because all that stuff that I've been doing has come from the net, it's come from people that are really interested in what I'm doing on the net. So I think that's really great. It's not about G'ing up, it's like, woohoo! Yeah, I suppose that's what gets me a bit. But I don't ever get angry about it. I'm not upset about it. I just have my own. And I think, I think it's really important to to have strong feelings about what you think, and whether you're right or wrong is sort of irrelevant. It's just there's no right or wrong. So you just have ideas about stuff, and you have imagination. I mean, I think I really enjoy the notion of kind of invoking your monsters and invoking your angels and invoking your spirit forces, and because they for me they're artifacts of the imagination. And I think the imagination, you know, if anything's divine to me, it's imagination. Because that's the thing probably why I don't like selling things, is I don't really think people get it. And I don't get it. Because I don't think it's that good, you know. So, I don't know, it's because, but where did that come from? And I know it sounds nuts, but, you know, I just keep feeling like I'm getting messages, you know. I'm getting messages from things. So we'll see, you know. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think the story's ended by any means of the stretch of the imagination. It doesn't really register for me, really. It's like it's all beyond my control and that stuff. I don't even think about it, really. I just don't think about it, you know. I don't. So there's very little I can say about that particularly. I was very fortunate to be an educator for a long time, and I think probably my legacy is more in education than a thing of the mind rather than, I don't know.
Perfect day for the road. The blue sky will take us home. We'll take it easy, we'll take it slow. It's a good day for the road. And time goes so fast when you're with the ones you love. But I won't worry today, even if time flies away. Diamonds shine on the snow. My guitar's asleep on the backseat. I'm following the river to another show. It's a perfect day for the road. And time goes so fast when you're with the ones you love. But I won't worry today, even if time flies away. Even if time flies away.